What up, player profiler faithful? It is your host, Matty Kiwoom, and we are here for another episode of The Game Plan. Today's episode comes out Saturday, April 20th. So today, my guest and I are talking about players we are high on. So get out your pens and your pads, and let's start game planning to dominate those Dynasty leagues. Planners, our guest today is a special one. He, as a matter of fact, is my trade god brethren, the morning man himself. You see him every single morning here at the Player Profiler Network of shows, the host of Wake and Take, co-host of Trade Gods, our social media czar, the maestro that is all social media, Jason Allwine. What's going on, Jay?
I am a little chilly, not wearing a turtleneck, man. It's feeling a little...
Yes, do you feel a little free? Like you do, get out there, do some activities.
It's like,
hey.
You know?
Love it. Today's episode is going to be a good one here, Jason. We're talking about players we're high on. We're going to take that all over the place. We're going to get a little funky with it. We're not just talking about players in Dynasty. We're going to be talking about upcoming players in the Dynasty pool, the rookies, some landing spot stuff, people that we may be more excited about versus consensus. We're really out here just trying to talk about the players that we are super high on, bruh. So let's just dive right on into it, my friend. I want to talk about rookies. Maybe by the time you're hearing this, the draft's only a couple days away. Like I said, it comes out on Saturday. But, I mean, in general, we are, almost a week away from being in Detroit. And so let's start with the rookies. Let's talk a little rookies here, Jason. What rookies are you high on?
Apparently, Matty Kiwoom, I have to be high on Marvin Harrison Jr. I honestly don't know what's gone on, and I know you aren't a Marvin Harrison Jr. rookie wide receiver one guy, so maybe you can enlighten me a little bit on like what I'm not seeing. But I just don't understand what went wrong in the process for Marvin Harrison Jr. I know we didn't get metrics, but technically nothing's really changed. He's still an early declare. He's still 6'3", 200 pounds. He's still the son of a Hall of Famer. He's still coming off back-to-back 1,200-yard, 14 touchdown seasons. And he was the only wide receiver last year to get 100 receiving yards against my Michigan Wolverines last year with a 518 and 1 touchdown line. The only guy literally able to do anything against them. And they even went up against Rome Odunze. So nothing's changed about him. We've been wanting to take – we were only a couple months removed now from arguing if Marvin Harrison Jr. or Caleb Williams should be the 101 in Superflex. Now we're arguing if Marvin Harrison Jr. should even be the 102 or 103 in Superflex. And I just don't understand what happened. I'm taking it. I want all the Marvin Harrison Jr. I can get. I think he's a can't-miss prospect, and that's exactly what you want in Dynasty, especially when we're all playing in these PPR leagues now too. I mean, just give me MHJ every day of the week.
So real quick, it's not that I am not high on Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
It's not that anyone in the industry is not high on Harrison Jr. It's a pick your flavor, and he's just not my flavor of these receivers. I mean, when I look at Marvin Harrison Jr. is my number 5 ranked player on my big board overall.
Right.
I think he's amazing. He is top 5 in the overall class. Right now in my Dynasty ranks, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. wide receiver 8 already in Dynasty. So I am very high on Marvin Harrison, but it's pick your flavor. And this is how I've said it, and I'll tell it to you now and tell it to our listeners that if you could put together a magic potion, pack it in a bowl, light it on fire, and it turns you magical, turns you what do they call it? Clairvoyant, where you could see the future.
Yeah.
And you could and you saw that all three of these guys, Dunze, Neighbors, and Harrison Jr., all reach their 98th percentile, 99th percentile outcome. So they go Super Saiyan. They get their highest evolution on the Pokemon charts. You're looking at an Antonio Brown type player. That's Malik Neighbors. You're looking at an AJ Green type player. That's Marvin Harrison Jr. And you're looking at a Larry Fitzgerald type of player. That's Rome Odunze. And they're all great players. They're all really, really great. They were fantastic for fantasy. Wide receiver 1 seasons galore. It's just I'm picking my flavor. My flavor is Antonio Brown. I've always picked Antonio Brown. He's been my archetype, my North Star when it comes to the receivers that I like in Dynasty and fantasy. So it's not that I'm not high on him, Mr. Allwine, okay? But I am glad you brought him up because there may be a little bit of I wouldn't call it prospect fatigue. I just think that everyone already knows what they're getting out of this guy, and there has been no new information. So talking about him, it has gone a little stale across the industry. Yeah, exactly. There's a little bit of that. And there's a little just like, yeah, like I said, they're just really kind of just stoned about the idea. They're just, I think let's go with burnt out. Burnt out makes it. That's better. That's a better way. He's burned out. Is there another player that you're high on? Give me a couple more rookies. I know you got a few lists. We do shows together, so I kind of already know some of the players that but the players here listening may not know. So why don't you dive into a handful of these other guys that you're high on?
Yeah, so I already mentioned I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan, so I'll kind of lump these two together. And the reason I'm kind of scooping up second-round picks and even those early thirds, maybe for one of them, is Blake Corum and Roman Wilson. I think that these are another couple players that will translate really, really well to the NFL. And I'm not saying that either really have this massively high ceiling. They do have a pretty high ceiling. But I do think that they should be at least consistent starters around the league for a long time. Blake Corum especially still profiles as a true bell cow. 5'8", 205, has that 94th percentile agility with a 27 bench press reps that put him in the 93rd percentile as well. So he's quick, he's strong, and then has back-to-back 200 carry, 1,000-yard, 19-plus touchdown seasons at Michigan. There's the chance that he could land in Los Angeles with Jim Harbaugh as well. So I would love to get some Blake Corum, really regardless of landing spot. I think an NFL team will love him. And same with Roman Wilson. I mean, this is a guy that's just been consistently producing at every single level, even if it wasn't like top of the charts production. Still led the Wolverines in receiving touchdowns, yards, targets, all of it last year. And still dominated at the Senior Bowl, still had a sub-4 40-yard dash and looked pretty good at the Combine. And I think another guy that's just, worked hard, will continue to work hard. We've all heard the high school story about him taking an airplane across islands in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So, I just think that those are the types of players that, stay around in the league a long time. And that's really all you can ask for in Dynasty is guys that you can continue to rely on. So maybe not the highest ceiling, still a pretty good ceiling, but definitely a pretty decent floor from both of those guys. And they've lost a lot of steam too. Like Marvin Harrison Jr., people are kind of burnt out on these players as well.
So my mock 4.0 is going to be coming out. It might already be out by the time you're listening to this episode. I just want to bring up Blake Corum's landing spot specifically because it's not one of the exciting ones. So I want to kind of gauge your interest and if you'd still be high on him.
Fair.
If this is what happens. So I have him going with the 6th pick in the 3rd round to the New York Giants. But that's the first running back off the board I have in my mock 4.0. So he is RB1 coming out, draft capital wise. It's the most anyone gets in the class, but it's to the New York Football Giants.
I mean, I think he would have, a decent role. And I think that, with that, you're probably not going to end up spending that much draft capital on him. I think that would probably sink him to the back of the 2nd round, early 3rd even. And I would still probably be buying there depending on the price. And I know Devin Singletary is a really good running back, but he still does kind of give up those goal line carries to someone. So I still think he'd fit in there. He'd probably still get some early down work. And I mean, running backs have been successful in New York before, even if it was Mr. Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, at the same time, if they're gonna be the first team to address running back
Right.
via the draft, they're telling us something. They're telling us that that's something they're excited about. They want to kind of get him before he's gone. But all right, because I think a lot of the times when we talk about Blake Corum, he's like already on the Chargers in most people's minds. So I wanted to ask you because I wanted to kind of get the planners' brains going and what life might look like if Blake Corum doesn't go to the Chargers. And I think it looks pretty good if he gets the draft capital we're kind of expecting. Now, you're high on a couple of receivers. I want you to talk about Brendan Rice and Ryan Flournoy.
Yeah. So, I mean, Brendan Rice, a lot of what we've said about Marvin Harrison Jr., son of a Hall of Famer, really, really great profile. Not the same amount of stats, but still have 12 touchdowns last year. I mean, with Jameson Williams led USC in receiving touchdowns. So, another wide receiver that I think is going to be pretty good. You and I both agree that he looks bigger and faster than his profile suggests. Just when we've both been able to lay our eyes on him, and he plays bigger than his size. He looks quicker than his size, and he's honestly a pretty decent route runner. Don't ever think he'll be like a wide receiver 1, but I think, again, he could be a pretty solid wide receiver 2. I've been literally viewing him as like a T. Higgins type ceiling. I know that that's high, but I think he could get there with the right landing spot. So that's kind of someone I'm looking at with my 3rd, 4th round picks right now. And Ryan Flournoy, just kind of my total dart throw. This is another guy with a really, really good profile and just works really hard. I think he's like 6 years in college now. He originally went D2, then had to go JUCO, tore his ACL in JUCO, returned, led that JUCO team in receiving yards, then transferred to a D1 school, SEMO, where he led them in receiving yards back-to-back seasons as well. Got that Senior Bowl invite, really impressed me at the Senior Bowl, parlayed that Senior Bowl invite into a combine invite where he just impressed again. And so I just think that this is a guy, again, I think just how hard a person works really is important. And I think he's demonstrated that. And he looks really good as well. I think he's like 6'1", like 210 or something like that, but he looks bigger than that as well when you see him, and looks a little quicker than he ran as well, but it was still like 4.5 speed. So this is just another guy that you can get for basically free, and with the right landing spot, I think could end up succeeding as well.
You saw all 3 of the receivers 3 of the 4 receivers you talked about, you saw at the Senior Bowl. And Ryan Flournoy, to me, I wasn't there, but what I saw from what the NFL covered was he just seemed to be open when they needed to and made the catch.
He always got targeted.
Right. And so I guess my question to you is, as you were there, did you notice, was it noticeable how solid he was playing throughout the week?
I'll tell you this. I showed up late the first day of Senior Bowl, so I can't remember the team names. American and National, can't remember who went first, but whatever team he was on was practicing second. And the Xavier Legette was on his team. That was who I was very excited to see. You know, you hear all the rumblings about the next AJ Brown, next DK Metcalf. So I get there, I'm looking for the guy that looks like DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, and my eyes went to Ryan Flournoy. My first video I took at the Senior Bowl was of Ryan Flournoy running a route and catching a ball, and then I rewatched it and I was like, wait, who's this guy? That's not Xavier Legette. When I looked at the number again, and it was Ryan Flournoy, and then he just kept popping up. And I mean, this was day 1. So, I mean, the guy who flashes early without any connection, I mean, shows something. These are all quarterbacks looking for a new receiver. So he was clearly getting open and clearly earned the trust of someone quick. And again, he took that like a crazy college route and then somehow got a Senior Bowl invite and then got a combine invite, which is really, really hard to get. So I really props to this guy. I really think he could be impressive. I'm very excited. I hope he gets drafted. I just really hope he gets drafted.
2 things are going against him, which stinks because I'm rooting for him. I'm with you. I think he's a good player. Is the depth of the wide receivers in this class and his age. That sucks. I wish he was younger because he's the type of guy that he's going to have to grind it out. You know, he's going to have to come in camp, just win a spot on the team, and then work his way on the field. But like you mentioned, his work ethic, and we've seen how polished he can look. But again, that polish tends to come with players who are older. And he is one of those players too. So, but I'm with you. I like the profile, and I like his story. It's going to be tough, but we're pulling for you, Mr. Flournoy. We're pulling for you. Last rookie that you are high on is another legacy player coming in this draft. Who is that guy? You got 2 sons, and now you have a nephew, right?
Yeah, the nepotism episode on the April 20th episode. It kind of works.
20 nepotism episode, yeah.
But Kamani Vidal, man, this is, I mean, you know, what do you really want in a running back? Kamani Vidal has it. He's another guy that profiles to be a bell cow, like 5'8", 220 even, the thickest thighs you've ever seen. Like, he takes quads.
You are a thigh guy. You're a thigh guy.
I am.
Quad
He's
guy,
like
thigh guy, yeah.
Thigh guy. I'm a thigh guy. But yeah, he's like, you look at Saquon. I think he earned Quadzilla, and we've had Quadzilla thrown around, right? He's like super mega Quadzilla. Like, I'm just blown away at the size of those quads. Super mega quads. And he literally led college football in rushing yards last season. I know it was at the University of Troy, but still 1,600 yards, 20-something touchdowns. So really, I mean, another guy who impressed at the Senior Bowl, had a pretty decent combine performance as well. Really good profile, related to Hank Aaron. Kamani Vidal.
Get Jerry Rice's son. Get Hank Aaron's nephew. Or Marvin Harrison's son. I mean, it is the nepotism episode, but they're good players. And Kamani Vidal is someone that I haven't been all that high on him, so I'm glad you keep talking about him, because I think he deserves a chance to be. I think I have him right around 10, but he may be he should be put up a little bit more. I think so. So those are the rookies that we wanted to go over. Marvin Harrison Jr. Can't believe we're saying it, but you're right. He deserves to be brought up because he feels like he falls through the cracks and more often than not. Blake Corum, Roman Wilson, Brendan Rice, Kamani Vidal, and Ryan Flournoy. Next topic, we want to talk about a little bit of these rookie landing spots. Again, we're just mere days away from the NFL draft, so we'll know this information, but we want to talk about the ones that we're particularly high on. But before we do, let's hear from today's sponsor.
It is NFL draft season and the wait is over. The Player Profiler Rookie Guide is available. It's live on the site now. Right there in the nav bar, click on the 2024 Rookie Guide to download it. It's so comprehensive. We're ranking and writing up more players than anybody. And this year, we're providing athleticism scores. We're doubling the number of advanced stats on each player profile. And guess who's back? Cody Carpentier. But it's not just him. It's Theo. It's Matty Kiwoom. It's John Lobb. And the Undroppables. All coming together to provide their composite rankings. And this year we're adding Superflex Tight End Premium because that's now become such a popular format. So get those composite ranks, get the write-ups, the comps, the stats and metrics you want. If you already have Dynasty Deluxe, you already have it. But if you don't, it's right there in the nav bar on playerprofiler.com. It's $20. It's not the first. It's not the most expensive, but it is the best.
Matty Kiwoom here with Jason Allwine, talking about some things in Dynasty that we're particularly high on. But before we get to this next topic, just real quick, you absolutely grinded it out, helping get that rookie guide going, and it's so good. Just, gloat a little bit, flex on these people for a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible rookie guide. Shout out to Colin for putting the template together. And then shout out to Brittany for helping me also kind of put together all the player pages with everything. Seth also lended a hand as well. So shout out to Seth Dewald, of course. But really, it's just a beautiful product. It really, really is. $20, I think, is a steal for that. Also included in the Dynasty Deluxe package, 50+ rookie write-ups from all sorts of players around the industry, as well as like player grades. You get to see all of this, basically the Player Profiler page right onto a PDF. Like, it's just everything you could want in a rookie guide. Take that into your rookie drafts with some rankings. You get some tips from Theo as well, like on how to navigate your rookie draft. So, I mean, it's really just an incredible thing. And a lot of work went into it. Very, very proud of it. So check that out.
Yeah, the rookie guide's sweet. It's unbelievable. Like Matt Kelly said in the ad, it's the best out there. But let's keep this train moving, my friend. Let's talk about these rookie landing spots that you're particularly high on. Because, there's going to be a lot of people out there that haven't been entrenched in the rookie process. They're kind of just going to wait and see to what happens after the draft. And maybe they don't hear about a player. But I want to talk about this landing spot because even if you don't know the player, you should get to know that player if they land here. So let's talk about a number of these landing spots that you are higher on than others.
Yeah, I'm going to start with one that I can't take full credit for, but I just love it. Matt Babbage talked about it on Mock Draft Live. Jonathan Brooks to the Cowboys, because like the guy who reconstructed his ACL is the Cowboys team doctor. All of this stuff, kind of late second round pick, great season at Texas. So I think that's one that could happen, should happen. It might just happen, that I would definitely be very, very much in on if it happened. And then just kind of some more general ones I have as well. But I know you've been doing these mocks. Is Jonathan Brooks second round to the Cowboys a little too much?
No. The Cowboys, everyone, when we sit down, get ready for day 2, round 2, everyone's going to be holding their breath as the Cowboys come up, because that's absolutely a landing spot that you could see them go running back. So I don't think it's outlandish at all. But if you don't mind, I'm going to take I'm going to look at the show notes, and I'm going to take your landing spot. I'm going to kind of craft it into a question.
Okay.
A little bit here. Okay, and then maybe because I for whatever reason, I'm feeling a little spacey on today's episode. A little galaxy brained. So I kind of want to ask you some questions about this.
Yeah.
So the Bills wide receiver spot, everyone's going to love it. No doubt.
Right.
But let's just say they don't go wide receiver in round 1. They don't go wide receiver round 2. Now, I don't think that's likely. I absolutely think they come away with the first round running back, wide receiver. Matter of fact, you're going to have to go check out my mock 4.0 because there's a bit of a big move that happens here with the Bills. But in terms of the Bills wide receiver, is it first round dependent for you, or is it just getting a guy on there that you think fits the offense?
Yeah, I pretty much want any piece that goes to that Bills in it. I wouldn't really care on the round, to be honest. If they get Ryan Flournoy in round 7, I'm smashing that draft button.
Okay. So they need a receiver. Now I think they go one pretty high up. You have 2 other wide receiver spots on your list that I'm curious to talk about. The Chargers and the Cardinals. Now the Cardinals, it feels like that's a great spot at 4. It feels like that's the hot spot for them to go wide receiver at 4.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So again, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked you about the Bills. Does it have to be there at 4, or can they go with let's call it AD Mitchell with their second round pick, does it have to be an elite guy for you to get excited?
I think with both of these, I kind of want to see it be that early first round flag plant. Like, I want to see the commitment. I think if they kind of are wishy-washy on their wide receiver commitment, that says a lot about how they plan to use their offense next season. And that could still be a good piece, but I would kind of want to see who that is at that point before I could get too totally excited. Because, just there's a whole difference between what the Chargers could do with a Malik Neighbors versus what they might do with Roman Wilson. Like I said, I like Roman Wilson a lot, but I also don't think that that's a 1,500-yard, 12 touchdown type.
Right.
So, so that I think that those are just 2 different worlds. And then you were just talking about the draft capital and everything. I want to see the commitment from those offenses, just because the Cardinals and the Chargers really could both kind of go either which way next season with that hole to fill.
I'm with you. You have 3 wide receiver spots here: Bills, Chargers, and Cardinals. And I think the Bills, to me, is my number 1. Would you agree that's probably your highest of the high?
Yeah.
Super high. High.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying Chiefs wide receiver. I don't really have them on there because that's kind of another one where I want to see this whole situation play out, what draft capital they give. But I think the Bills, there's a big hole to fill with Stephon Diggs, and I just think it's going to take the whole team. I don't necessarily think it'll be just unless it is like they make a big trade up to go make a commitment like I want to see from one of these teams. But like I said, even if they get a Ryan Flournoy in round 7, I still think that that's fantasy football value. I think whatever piece they get, whatever commitment, I think is going to, 50 to 80 targets, nothing crazy,
that's right.
But enough.
Yeah.
To where you're happy. So.
Exactly. No, you've kind of spoke to all the reasons why the Bills is the most for me, and for me, the Cardinals and the Chargers. I mean, the Chargers and the Cardinals. Like you said, they got to invest in the blue chippers because there are guys there, and there are situations there that may not allow them to flourish right away unless it's someone that can come in and be Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, one of these 2 kids laying in these spots. Then they're like you're saying, the franchise is investing in that position. that tells us as fantasy gamers, there's gonna be a lot of targets. There's gonna be a lot of production going that way. And the Chiefs, I'm glad you left that off. That's not a good landing spot.
It's not that
That's
great.
actually a really bad landing spot.
It's not that great.
Good. Let's just say, pick your poison. Any kid, you go there, you could be good.
Yeah,
and be the fourth best receiver on the team, and it has nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? Like Troy Franklin can go there and be MVS, better MVS, makes the catches, but Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice,
maybe
brought in Hollywood Brown, and I don't care if they. Hollywood Brown is probably as good a receiver as almost anyone that will be available when the Chiefs draft.
Oh, 100%. Like whatever,
exactly, right.
Even like if they got, this might be a hot take. I don't know. I might be going too far here. But even if they got Adonai Mitchell, they would kind of just hope Adonai Mitchell becomes like Hollywood Brown in a way, right? Like
I know what you're saying there, and I think the Adonai Mitchell's. I would say the Adonai Mitchell, his profile at this point of their careers, I would rather have than Hollywood.
Right.
But his style does not lead to a lot of volume in that offense.
Right.
So it does not. I don't think it jives all that well. Where I think Hollywood Brown, we saw him get double-digit targets in Arizona. I think he's capable of being a real weapon for Pat Mahomes in this offense. And even though we'll see, because we'll be in Detroit together, we'll be watching it. We'll see if there's a wide receiver run, because I think I would say 5 or 6 are pretty much guaranteed to go. But it could go to 7, could go to 8 if there's a run early that causes that vacuum of everyone having to pull up and get their guys early.
And they kind of need a corner too. So, and I think there'll be some kind of cheap corners there at 32. I think there will be. So, well, you just punt.
Maybe they don't have to wait till 32. Check out my mock 4.0 on PlayerProfiler and see what's up. Speaking what's up, the Chargers running back landing spot. Of course, of all listed, this might be the best one. This might be the one that causes a rookie's value to skyrocket the most.
Yeah,
I would say. So we don't really have to talk about. Everyone knows Harbaugh's going to want to run the ball. He's going to look to bring in offensive line help. He keeps talking about it. He wants to build a hard-nosed team that runs first, passes second. They want to. They've been asking. The Chargers have been asking Justin Herbert to play as Superman about 80% of the time, and I think Jim Harbaugh is going to want him to play a little bit more Clark Kent than Superman, and then turn into Superman, when the bad guy comes, when they need him. But what running backs do you think fit the best? We talked about Corum, but give me a couple other ones that their value may be here. And for the listeners, I'm kind of putting up the whole hand motion like mid. Here they go to the Chargers, goes skyrocket, rocket, super high, bro.
Right. Yeah, I think that Blake Corum obviously has the connection with Jim Harbaugh. And then I want to say, I wish I wrote down the names because I know that this is true what I'm about to say, but I don't have his name. So I feel a little silly there. But Marshawn Lloyd's running back coach from USC has now become the running back coach for Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken, and or the offensive coordinator. But either way, his running back coach from USC is now a coach for the Los Angeles Chargers. So there's that tie as well if they can't get Blake Corum. And I think that is someone that would also fit very handsomely within that offense, a little bit more of a pass catcher than Blake Corum, but Blake Corum does have his pass catching chops as well. But just he would probably be kind of an Austin Eckler plus in that offense and complement Gus Edwards, who could kind of take the between the tackles stuff. So I think that's another one that might come a little bit later in the draft that could be very, very special. Jalen Wright's another one, but I don't know if they'll make that investment. I think that if they don't go after Blake Corum or Marshawn Lloyd, that they are probably going to wait a little bit. I think maybe, I don't know. It's tough.
But this is a spot, though, Jason. Isn't it a spot that even if they take someone in the 6th, you're going to want them in the 3rd, 4th round?
Yeah, because, I mean, like, Gus Edwards, I think, obviously the Greg Roman ties. But, I mean, like, he's never, like, been, like, a true bell cow. He kind of just takes those touchdowns, which, is annoying. But there's still going to be opportunity for whoever else they draft to come in and get some volume. They talk about how much they want to run the ball. They will run the ball a lot. I don't think Joshua Kelly's that good. I don't think Isaiah Spiller's that good. Actually, Joshua Kelly's not even on the roster anymore, so it doesn't even matter. Isaiah Spiller's not that good. Gus Edwards is fine. I like him. Gus the Bus is cool and all, but they'll get one and it'll be kind of exciting. It'll be very exciting.
Yeah, that spot's great. And if you're, I've been accused of partaking in the devil's lettuce when I've said this to people in my leagues, but what do you want for Gus Edwards? I've been trying to buy me some cheap Gus Edwards shares. because I look at it, I say to myself, maybe they don't go running back super early.
Yeah.
And maybe Gus Edwards is the guy that gets a lot of this carries of this new offense that Jim Harbaugh is trying to build. So landing spots we love. Jonathan Brooks to the Cowboys. Bills getting a receiver at any point in the draft. Chargers getting a running back at any point. We're hoping to see the Chargers and Cardinals get wide receivers early. But I noticed there's another landing spot that we're going to talk about really quickly. It's a quarterback spot. Going to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, if the Vikings are able to get J.J. McCarthy, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels, one of the big four, how high are you going to be on that rookie going into 2024, my friend?
I mean, pretty high. But, Matty Kiwoom, I am hoping that they actually take Michael Penix or Bo Nix. I know that might seem a little
at
odd.
23, if they – so you wanted them to stick and pick 11, 23. Okay.
I think that is a really, really good move for that organization as a whole. And I think that the contract they gave to Sam Darnold shows a minor commitment. You know, I think we've talked about it on Trade Gods a little bit where, you know, Kevin O'Connell has that relationship with what? The San Francisco 49ers head coach. Why?
Kyle Shanahan. My God.
I know. I was thinking Mike McDaniel, and I was like, he's.
Yeah, I thought something happened. I was like,
oh no, God, I just couldn't remember for a second. Just totally blanked. But, you know, they have the connection with Kyle Shanahan. I don't think that kind of move happens without a phone call. Like, be serious with me. Is Sam Darnold good enough to come in and throw the ball for us for a few games with TJ Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and now Aaron Jones as well? And the answer was probably, yeah. He's done a lot. He understands our system, which is very similar to yours. So he'll come in and play a little bit. And then I think Michael Penix or Bo Nix, I think that they would also fit that system very well. And with a kind of lesser commitment, I think would present, you know, kind of end of first round potential in our super flex drafts. And I think that could be really, really good for our teams. And I think long term that those guys would end up being the starter over Sam Darnold. They both do have, you know, still the really high ceilings. We just saw them, you know, both over 4,500 passing yards in college football last season, kind of lighting the world on fire. So I think both of them could succeed in that system. And that's kind of what I hope to do. But I mean, even if they go for some of the early ones, I mean, it's just a really good landing spot. You want the quarterback throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson in a pass-friendly offense. Like, it's not, you know, so.
That's right. I mean, we saw Josh Dobbs be fantasy relevant in this offense. I think getting a player in the first round would be tremendous for fantasy. In the latest episode of the Future Cast, we had Seth Ewald on, and we were doing our rookie mocks, and I took Penix with the 109. And I'm trying to predict the future here a little bit. I think that might become the chalk pick if he gets round one draft capital. And whether it's the Raiders, the Vikings, it just seems, Seahawks, a team trading up back into the first. It seems as if we're going to see at least 5 quarterbacks go in round one.
Yeah, because that fifth year option is pretty important. You know,
it's super exclusively for that position.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's great everywhere, but at quarterback, it's like it's a big deal being able to lock them in for a 5th season. So it's a tremendous landing spot. Of course, you're not crazy to be high on the Vikings getting a quarterback in the draft. But I want to ask you this question, Jason. Is there a player that, you know, maybe the industry's down on, but you're like, nah, bro, I'm much higher on this guy?
Yeah, it's I can't quit him. It's really unbelievable how sad it's become, but it's Jameson Williams. It is what it is. You know, this is a type of player I just really, really like. And so
can't quit him.
It's very, very much difficult already in that regard. Like, I'm very much a Marquise Brown, Nico Collins, Tyquan Thornton, Christian Watson. Like, I just like those
good and the bad
play threat, quick guys that just melt your brain when you watch them explode. So Jameson Williams is one that, you know, actually has that first round draft capital that you want from a wide receiver, that actually has the unbelievable college production and really, really good profile, and just has unfortunately had some things not really go his way the first couple seasons. Of course, the ACL injury his rookie year, and then the gambling problem, which, let's face it, isn't that big of a deal. Kind of a weird rule to begin with, let's be honest, a little bit. And then he came on a little slow, of course, because of that. And we know Dan Campbell's kind of a hard ass, and when it comes to getting players playing time. But I think that he did a lot last season to earn Dan Campbell's trust. First off, he was an incredible run blocker. You can go look up his blocking highlights. Like without a doubt, he is always running down the field, making sure to get that last guy, pick up the safety, pick up the loose corner, and do that. He has unbelievable ability after the catch. I still have a play burned in my mind where he's running down the sideline and just stops on a dime and the tackle misses. And then he keeps going immediately and is right back to a sub 4.4 speed. He's just such a good player, so electric. And now we're fitting a time where he's going to have a full off season. He doesn't have an injury. He doesn't have a suspension. One of Jared Goff's favorite targets, Josh Reynolds, is gone. That's 64 targets, 600 yards, and 5 touchdowns that have become available. He just had 2 touchdowns in the NFC Championship, a rushing one and a receiving one off of not much volume. So this is a guy I think fits perfectly in this offense. I know Amon-Ra St. Brown are there. I know Sam Laporte is there. I know Jahmyr Gibbs is there, but so is Jameson Williams. He's not just a big play threat as well. Like he's not just running streaks. Like they've used him in screens. They've used him on short routes because he's so good after the catch. He actually does have a full route tree. So I'm a huge fan of Jameson Williams. I think year 3 is the time. And I just think he fits the offense really well. We've seen the production. We've even seen run blocking. The targets are becoming available. The offense is so good and he's cheap. So give me Jameson Williams.
You are always going to be high on Jameson Williams. I'll tell you that. Maybe a little too high. But Jameson Williams right now, he's wide receiver 57 on Player Pro. I want to play a quick name game.
Yeah.
Jameson Williams or Jacoby Myers?
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams or Cortland Sutton?
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams or Josh Downs?
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams or Hollywood Brown?
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams or Calvin Ridley?
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams or Deontay Johnson?
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams or Keenan Allen?
If I am competing,
don't quantify
this year.
Don't quantify it.
If I am not qualifying, if it is a default dynasty team, Jameson Williams.
Okay, so you, my friend. Now, of course, I skipped a lot of names here, so I'm not going to parse through it specifically, but we have him at 57 at Player Profiler. You have him potentially in your top 35.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these names that we're listing here, we got pretty high up on the ranks. I am at wide receiver 57, so I'm more in line with Player Pro and how we have it here. But again, these are the reasons why we bring up this conversation, why I think it's important for all the planners tuning in is you might have players, might be Jameson Williams, but if you have a player that you're higher on, like we all have guys that were, might be a little bit I'm not going to say too excited because he has the tools. You laid out the exact scenario where he's a good, improved year 3 breakout. Mm-hmm. So it's just good to talk about these players that we're particularly high on. Maybe it gives the planners listening maybe the confidence to go make a move for a player that they are high on. I did get an offer in one of my leagues, and since you are the resident Jameson Williams guy, and since you are my fellow trade god brethren, I want to ask you about this offer. I was offered I'd have to give up Tank Dell, and I'd get Jameson Williams and Gus Edwards.
I don't think I would go that far. I would like that. I know you like, I don't know. I don't think I would go that far. It's kind of close. I would like to explore Jameson Williams plus for Tank Dell, but I think you could probably get better. I think you could. I think that Tank Dell is a very valuable piece. I know you're a Tank Dell guy too. So
no, I'm not. That Stephon Diggs trades kind of capsized him a little bit. I got him all the way down to wide receiver 47.
Okay. Hey, if you're that low, then I would do it. If you're that low, I've still got him probably top. I've got all.
I'm going to take your advice. We're trying to get a little something, Mo. Get a little Mo.
Yeah, I think you could get something more. I think you could. I think the general sentiment around Tank Dell is still ahead of Diggs and Nico. Last I saw him keep trade cut, so I think you could
get a little more. Get a little more to get it rolled up.
I think you get like JMO in a second pretty easily. Maybe you can get JMO Gus in a second. I think you can. Anyway,
he has Amari Cooper, and I love Amari Cooper still. So maybe
JMO and Cooper could be fun. I think
that's what I'm saying. A little old, a little young. I like the wide receivers there. All right, I want to ask you this question. I got 2 questions left for you, both pretty fun ones. We had to have some fun. It is again April 20th. So we want to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of partay in the air, a little good vibes, if you catch my drift. So I want to talk about sleepers because you got some fun ones. We talk about a lot of them on Trade Gods. You check that out every Wednesday night. What sleeper are you highest on? Like, Cheech and Chong high.
Yeah, this is the one that I'm blowing the most smoke for.
Nice.
As long as the Indianapolis Colts do not draft Brock Bowers, and I very much hope and pray that they do not make that move, I think that Jelani Woods is set up to wildly outproduce his current tight end 37 price tag. If you look at the cumulative stats of the tight end amalgamation that the Colts put together last year with Mo Alley Cox, Kylan Granson, Will Mallory, and Drew Ogletree, you got 883 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 70 receptions. That's a really good year. And
that's
Jelani
a good tight end year, yeah.
Like Jelani Woods has the profile, 6'7", 252 pounds with a 4.6 40, 94th percentile speed and burst, 82nd percentile agility. He has the 98th percentile catch radius because he's a Godzilla of a human. And I just think that he's the type of guy to beat out all four of those guys and get a ton of targets. The tight end has produced in this offense before, and I think that they desperately missed a playmaker like Jelani Woods last year. I believe Shane Steichen's already come out and kind of said that they're expected to see him take a leap next year. Just a weird hamstring injury that sidelined him the whole season, so hopefully he can get back healthy. But even in his limited time as rookie season, he still shined. He had a 2-touchdown game against Kansas City week 3 of his NFL career. One of those was a game winner. Yes, the Colts with Matt Ryan beat the Kansas City Chiefs in overtime off of a Jelani Woods reception 2 seasons ago. So just think about that. And then later in the year, week 12, Jelani Woods had himself a 9-target game, and he took in 8 of them for 98 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he showed that he could handle some volume as well. Now, these are only really 2 kind of shining games that he had, but it's hard to produce as a rookie, especially again on that Colts team that I don't even remember all the quarterbacks. It was what, Matt Ryan? Was that Nick Foles' last stint as well? Did he come out?
It might have been. Yeah, they went crazy that year. They had
was that
Sam Ellinger.
Sam Ellinger. Yeah, it was
yeah,
just a
they
whole
went.
thing.
Yeah, that was rough. They earned the 4th overall pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they probably had an argument to get the 1st overall pick, to be completely honest with everyone here. But anyway, as long as they don't draft Brock Bowers, I think that the Colts tight end is a position destined for success. I hope it's, and I would bet on Jelani Woods kind of being the guy to take over that room and have a pretty decent season next year.
They have been showing some interest. They had a top 30 visit. They've been talking about the combine with Xavier Worthy, the speedster.
Okay.
And
I like that.
I think if that was their selection in the 1st round at 15, I think that would help the tight end on this team because it's more of another downfield threat where tight ends are going to succeed when they have the intermediate routes and red zone stuff.
Right.
Where do I have him? I've always been a little bit more excited about Woods, I think, than people because of you, to be honest. Like I have met tight end 29. So I have him almost 10 spots higher than Player Pro does right now because of you. You kind of kept my brain. You're like, all right,
whatever.
I'm gonna pass it to the left. Pass the Jelani Woods to the left hand side. You know what I'm saying? Like Jelani Woods, baby. Get some Jelani Woods. All right, let me get you out of here with this.
Okay.
If you're completely dunce and you didn't realize that we were playing up a whole 420 theme this whole episode, and you somehow did not pick up on those cues. First of all, you might be uptight. You might want to go smoke a blunt. But just kidding. Give me a bold take, Jason, that is so high that people are saying, damn, Jay, you are on the good stuff. Pass me some of that devil's lettuce. What is your bold take that it makes people think you are super high? Forget the saying.
A bold take, if you will.
Gotta get one more in, baby.
I've got 2 written down here. I'm going with this one.
No, you're gonna go both of them.
I'm going both.
You're going double. We're going double barrel shotgun. We're
right.
going cross joint from Pineapple Express, and we're getting both of them.
All right. Okay. For my Atlanta Falcons homies, for everyone out there, as you can see, we're in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium right now, and it looks like we are tied up with the Panthers. So hopefully we win this game.
0-0.
Hopefully this isn't last year's game against the Panthers. I don't think it is because I think that game was in Carolina. So I think we're good. Either way, Kyle Pitts not only outproduces Drake London next season, but also finishes as the tight end 1 in 2024, re-solidifying himself as the #1 dynasty tight end and an unbelievable potential Hall of Fame tight
end. I love it. No, I said, Jason, are you high? I mean, this is
I love Kyle Pitts. What can I say? What can I say?
I love it. That's what we want. We want the boldest of bold. And give us the other one for fun. I can't. The players got to know. What was the second one?
Yeah. Another player I can't quit. Justin Fields will take over by midseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers by a number of ways. By fact, he will take over by midseason. I can conjure up a million different ways this happens. And then from that time that he becomes the starter for the Pittsburgh for the Pittsburgh Steelers till the end of the season, he finishes as a top 8 quarterback within that span in fantasy points. And to leave you with another one, leads the Steelers to the playoffs.
Ooh, Kyle Pitts is a Hall of Famer, and that starts now. And Justin Fields is a savior in Pittsburgh. I love those bold takes. That was a fun. And this episode has been an absolute blast, Jason. Thanks for talking about some of the players that you're highest on. Now I will hold you ransom for all of them in our leagues that we're in together. But while we're at it, go ahead and tell our listeners where they can find you, where they can get all your content.
Well, thank God I have Jameson Williams, Jelani Woods, Kyle Pitts, and Justin Fields on my trade gods team somehow. Thankfully,
I can't do any of that. My my Batman villain-esque plan has been foiled.
It's all right. We have the Wake and Take startup draft coming up in just a couple weeks. You can snipe me, if you will. But anyway, you can find me every Monday through Friday here on Player Profiler, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern on my show Wake and Take. Then you can also follow me on Twitter at JFootballWine. And then, of course, just follow Player Profiler on all social media channels. We've got Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. We got multiple Twitters. We got multiple TikToks. So go follow us there. Great content coming out every single day.
Make sure you're subscribed to the Player Profiler YouTube channel. Like this video, leave a comment. Let us know some players that you are particularly high on, or if you had a funny story about your April 20th adventures. Go ahead and leave those in the comments. But you're going to want to make sure that you put on the notification bell for the Player Profiler YouTube channel. Why? Well, we are going to be in Detroit at the Player Profiler Draft House in just a few days. Not 1, not 2, but 3 straight days of NFL draft coverage live from Detroit. We have 4 people. Jason is one of them, heading to the draft itself. So we'll have boots on the ground, getting those clips, getting those interviews, media passes. We got 4 guys heading there. And then we got everyone else is going to be at the draft house live, giving instant reactions to every picks, talking about fantasy breakdowns from guys like Matt Kelly, Theo Greminger, Memphis Young, and Josh Larkey. And then we're going to have pick-by-pick NFL breakdowns by me, Cody, and Alex Dunlap from Roster Watch. It's going to be so much fun, and Player Profiler is setting the new standard for NFL draft coverage, especially from a fantasy football platform. You're not going to get it anywhere else. This is the best spot ever, anywhere, to get NFL draft coverage. So you're going to want to make sure that the notification bell is on, because you're not going to want to miss a single minute of our day 1, day 2, and day 3 draft coverage. 7 rounds. We're going bonkers for that. And of course, you can follow me at Matty Kiwoom on the old X app. I'm Matty Kiwoom, joined by the great Jason Allwine. Keep game planning, my friends. And I'll see you next time. Peace.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to PlayerProfiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.